Okay. It's connected. We are doing 6,000. Okay. Let me refresh this. Did it work? Oh, shit. Close. I can't really tell. I guess it's doing it all through here, so I don't really need. If I go to the channel live. Okay, yeah. Wait, let me turn off the desktop audio. Holy shit, that is blurry. Hang on. Can I get that to 10? Is that just the bitrate? Do I need to increase the bitrate? Because that is really blurry. And I'm literally just fucking programming today. Alright, so what happens? Let's do like. Let's go crazy. 10,000. I don't think I should look that bad. Let me just like scroll up and down, see if that affects it. I mean, as long as it like kind of looks okay, I don't really care. But you just have to at least be able to see what's happening. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's good enough. It's okay. It doesn't really matter that much. Okay, we can get off that. So it is working. That's good. All right. Let's get started. So, all right. I have to do. Actually, here, let me run the update on this just to see what this looks like. An error? What? Oh my god, are you serious? Did they change it? Debugging already? Let's see here. This shouldn't be an issue. This query should run. Yep, it did. What's the problem? Why? I have every playoff game. Everything's there. What's the issue? Okay. Well, that looks right. I don't think the... Let's see, maybe this has changed and it just auto-updated for me. I can plug it in again. Run that. Nope. Okay. All right. Let's get t.text. See what stupid shit. Wait, how do I get it to another screen? I feel like there is a way to do this. Yeah. Oh my god. The table should be in here. I mean, it looks like it did last time. There's no table. I set this all up beforehand. I don't understand why this stuff doesn't work when I want it to. let me look here. Print HTML from request. So what we're looking for is, let's see if at least the data is here. That is step number 1. Okay. So let's just look for loud. Okay, so loud isn't present. That is an issue. Let's try loud lowercase, maybe? That is a big problem. That is a really big problem. Let's look for any champion. Let's look for Varus. Oh, wait, hang on. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god, wait, did they bot proof this? Are you serious? Oh my god. All my data's gone. Okay, wait, what does it look like on the actual website? Inspect. Wait, actually. So where does the data sit here? Oh, actually, no, I'm not looking at the right thing. Where's the source for this? All right, let me open the same page in Opera real quick. Let's see if I can get something there. My computer is dying. All right, if we look at the page source, so this should be the HTML that we're receiving here. Okay, so there it is. Table class, wiki table plain. Okay. It's very possible that they're just blocking this because it shows up just fine here. All right, let's look for table here. Table. Meta name robots. Motherfucker. That's the font. Okay, so now I need an alternate way to get this data because they have fucked me here. And so I think all I'm going to have to do is just copy and paste it into a CSV, which sucks, but honestly, that's fine. What are you going to do? How to go about doing this? Let's see here. I guess I can move this over here now and do this. So this is the query. One last Hail Mary, even though it's not going to work. I'm desperate. Oh. Oh, the pain is real. The pain is really, really real. Okay, yeah, whatever. Let's just copy and paste this over then. So, DuckDuckGo, let's go to the predictions tab, create a new one, then I'll download it. All right, this should work. It's actually considered a separate page, I think. Okay, grab that, copy. Oh, look at that, beautiful, very nice. Okay, everything's there, nothing is missing, so that's not an issue. Yep, all right. Let's download that as a CSV. Perfect. Okay. Open up the files. Let's do. Okay. Just rename it. Um, 3/3/2026. Okay. Perfect. All right. So instead of doing this, and we don't need the 0 either, it's not necessary. We can just get rid of that, and we just need to create a new data frame as test. So pd.read CSV. Oh, I didn't put the equal sign. Okay. And then we're just going to take, I can just copy the relative path. Okay. Oh, fuck. That should work. Very nice. Okay. Yep. That looks right. I think that's how I had it set up for this as well, because each IC. Oh, wait. I don't need to do this anymore, do I? Shit. Because if I run that, that's what I want it to be. So this is no longer necessary because I'm copying and pasting it in. All right, and this should all still run just fine. It did. Wow, that ran really fast. That's actually way faster than I was expecting. Okay. So we want, let's look at the total dictionary. Perfect. Kaisa. Okay. That looks correct. That looks right. Yep, no issues there. All right, and let's look at the game list as well. There is one other thing I want to add. Game list. Finals, Loud, Future, Furia. Okay, yeah, that's all set. Good, very nice. Okay, I do want to add one more thing. When I do, for each champion, it should have a total win rate, because I think we're probably going to have to use it for the scoring. So when we get, so it's in collect list, every time it gets a champion. So that's Z, collect list, it's phase, team 1 patch winner. 4Z in total dict. Sorry, FX1 in total dict. Okay. It could be a separate thing, but honestly, that seems like a pain. I think, honestly, all we do is each time this is run, do we just slap a function on it? I feel like if I just, yeah, I would just have to add one thing to each of these rows. Or we can just not add it. Honestly, you know what? Okay, let's try it without. Let's try it without first. And if I need to change it, I change it. It's not really a big deal. Okay. So we're going to make a new definition here, and it will just be a placeholder, but this will just be get draft score for now. And we're just going to do some testing. So the way I see this going is if there's a champion, if a champion is selected, what we have to look at is how it relates to all the champions on its own team and how it relates to all the champions on the enemy team, and that will give you the score, with the lane opponent being slightly more valuable. And then I think we can just fuck with the weights afterwards. So I think each needs to be its own like individual calculation, and then we can just kind of fine tune it as we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, okay. So total, we'll just base it off of total dictionary rate now. Actually, no. Let's start with the champion itself. So if you have a total composition, so let's say we'll just make it a list. I think that's easiest. So you have a comp list, and they have to be, oh, actually, wait. Is this ordered by... I don't think I included lane opponent in this data. It does say the role, but I don't think I grabbed it. That is a little problematic. All right, we'll add that later then. I just wanna try this like very basically. Okay. So you just have champ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, whatever. So T1, C1, C4, and then T1, C5. And then we'll just do the same thing for team 2, T2, C3. Okay. And then we're just going to add all of these in their own cell. I might be the worst programmer alive. All right. T2, C4, T2, C5. Okay. So all of these will equal a champion on their own. A champion that currently, for now, we'll just do champions that have games played, and then we'll add a way for, you know, whatever to be calculated afterwards. Actually, why am I doing this? I can just copy and paste this. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So, ultimately, the way this is going to work is we're going to need a set of keys from the total dictionary. And that should give us every champion that has been played. Shit. Okay. And I kind of want it as a list, so that way it prints out a little nicer. There, okay, well that's not quite what I wanted, but whatever, I guess. Like it's good enough for now. It's good enough for now. Okay. How many champions have been played actually? I mean, with Fearless, playoffs are done, so it should be 115. Not bad actually. 115 is pretty good. And then for the patch, because the patch has its own dictionary. So if we do, it should be patch dict, and this is only going to be 4, but that's because of, hang on, patch dict dot keys. So we want the latest patch. So let's do this one. Shit. Actually, wait. I don't think that's a string. No, it's not. So only 58 this patch. Okay. So let's just do the total first, and then we can add the patch. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. All right. So let's list out these. Let's take a look. And let's just say for our first composition, we're going to go with like Mbessa for team 1. We'll go Leona. Actually, I could just borrow one from one of the teams, but whatever, it's fine. Leona, Yanara. I'm just kind of throwing whatever together here. Nidalee. Nidalee in the jungle. One of my favorites. I fucking hate that shit. Let's say, wow, someone played Echo? Who the heck played Echo? Mel. Let's do Mel. Mel in mid, and then on the other team, we'll put a Malzahar. We'll put a Draven. We'll put a Rakan. Cassante. And jungler will be Pantheon. There we go. So those are the two teams. And so the idea is that the comp list will entail all of it. Actually, is inputting all of them individually into the function easier, or is putting it into a list easier? The list is definitely more compact. Whatever. We'll do it this way. Let's try it this way first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually, yeah, no, it is better to have the list. Yes, because we just want a for loop. For x in comp list. Though, honestly, I think it's better to have two lists. Right? Because if we have two lists, then we can go... Okay. Quick break. BRB. All right. Let me get some lo-fi music as well. Make this a little easier. Put on the old desktop audio. Royalty free. Is that too loud? No, I feel like I should still be way louder. Okay. We're good, yeah, because, you know, what anyone tunes in for is this. All right. So, on my break, I decided, I think what we're going to do is 2 lists, because I think that just makes it easier. Okay, I think this is a little loud for me. I need to think, but I can increase it for viewers. Okay, team 1. Okay, and then we're gonna have team 2. Yeah, I think this is the best way to do it. All right, so you feed it 2 lists for the teams. I think this also just in general it makes compiling the score easier too. Okay, so we have to do 2 for loops. Team 2. And then within the for loops, for each champ. Actually, wait, do we have to do both? Hang on, let's think about that. So essentially what it has to do is for each champion, it has to go through and get a score for every champion related to it, and that adds up to the total for that particular champion. So if any given team comp, if we're looking for a score of 100, right, then any given champion has a score roughly of 20 out of that 100. And so that 20 has to come from the other 9 champions. We're not going to give it a default because we don't have the overall win rate of the champion. And so it's 20 divided by 9, realistically. It would be easier if we just could give it, 2 points purely based off of whether or not it has a high win rate, but I didn't calculate that. So I'll have to go back through and change that. Shout out to anyone's stock market portfolio. Not having a good day. Okay, let's take a look. So yeah, okay, so it's if we're establishing, so if we at the start we establish a team 1 score, and that will be set to 0 by default. And then, you have a team 2 score as well, and that's also set to 0. Then what we have to do for each team is, okay, yes. No, this makes sense. So the first for loop only counts towards team 1's score. The second for loop counts towards team 2's score. That works. Nothing wrong with that. Stand by. I should probably have this open in another tab just to make sure this is working. I imagine it is, but I just want to... Good. I should probably have this open in another tab. Okay, yeah. All right, just wanted to make sure. All right, perfect. So... Okay, so once we get into team 1, how do we want it to operate? Right, so if X is the given champion that we're investigating, in this case, the first one's Mbessa, right? The next one that we want to, the next thing we want to do is we want to compare Mbessa's win rate to every single member of her team, and then we want to compare Mbessa's win rate to every single member of enemy team. So first, we have to do a second for loop inside in team 1. And we just have to do a very basic if statement where if x equals y, we pass on this particular one. Because we don't want it to count for M-BESA. That doesn't make any sense. Right? Okay. But assuming it's not, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Total Dictionary. And we're going to find x, which is the base champion, because that's the one we're doing comparison on. And if I'm remembering how this is set up, but let me just confirm. So if we were to do Total Dictionary and look at M-BESA, for instance, what we're going to get is a with, and we're going to get an against. So you have with. These are all the champions and their win-loss record when played with the champion. And then you have the versus, which is on enemy team. It's the opposite, right? And this just walks you through like, okay, so far in every single major region this year, and a major region for me is anything that goes to an international, because there's only 6. There's only 6 of them now, right? So like in any game where M-BESA has played against Kennen has won every time, no matter the region. Any game where she's played against a Braum has won every time, right? This is essentially what we're looking at. And some of them are really low because we don't have a huge sample size. It's pretty minor, but that's fine. It's not really a big deal. We're not shooting for perfection right now. We're going to make it more complicated as we go on. But just with the data that's available to us right now, this is what we're going to utilize. Okay, so that should work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the M-BESA dictionary, and then because this is her team, so it's team 1, we're going to want with, and then we're going to want the champion of Y, right? Yes. So if we do a break here, I think that's right. Yeah. Team 1 is not defined. Oh my. There we go. I didn't run any of this. That's on me. M-BESA, key era M-BESA. What? But I literally just ran it. Am I trolling? Here, we can try this. T1, C1. Yeah, it works. So, M-BESA with... Oh. I see what I did. Else. There we go. There we go. What? No, it still doesn't work. If x equals y, but it should. The next one should be Nidalee. We should be seeing y equals Nidalee. Total dict x. But if I do total dict, I didn't. Yeah, it's right here. So 1. What am I missing here? What am I missing? So okay, so x equals M-BESA. Oh my god, what am I? X equals M-BESA with y, which in this case equals Nidalee. Key error Nidalee. Ah, okay, so we've already run into a problem. There has not been a single M-BESA game this year so far that has been played with a Nidalee. And because of that, that's a problem. That's not the problem this is running into, though, which is kind of weird. It says key error in Mesa. I'm assuming it's on the Y. So if I delete this, it should work. And it does. Okay, figures. Figures. Okay. Okay. But I'm saying if X and Y match, then you should pass. Otherwise... So then why is it... What? You're telling me that's not true? Oh. No, I see what was happening. Okay. All right. So the first thing that we have to do here. So it does work. I was just reading it wrong. Which, standard, I guess. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to have it check to see if the key works, right? So it's going to try it. And if it fails, then we have to give it a default score. So we're just going to have it try. So we're just going to have it try this. Try to grab the score from it. So raw score or raw win percentage. And we'll just have that exist here. And that will be added to the score after calculation. Yeah, that works. Oh, wait, it's not set up as a percentage, is it? It is set up... Yeah, it's set up as win and loss. Okay, so actually what we want... So we have to add both of them together and then just divide to get the win percentage. So we're looking at total dict X with Y. So we just try the whole calculation. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So it's whatever Y is, and then we're just going to take the wins, and then we're just going to divide it by this plus the losses. Okay. There we go. And so that should give us a raw output. Okay. That should give us a raw output of a win percentage. And then all we're going to do is per champion, we have to determine... Let me pull up the old calculator here. So we're looking at... So for every champ, they get 20 points towards the total draft score. Each champion's interaction, it's only going to be 9 because there's going to be 4 on your team, 5 on the other team. And so we just have to divide it by 9. That gets 2.2222222 repeating. And so we're just going to go to like... We'll go to the 4th. I think that's fine. I don't think that's really an issue. We'll just go to the 4th and then call it there. So it's whatever that is... the whole thing times, we'll just do it at the beginning, 2.22222 times this whole thing. And that gives you that just gives you the score. So we just try that, and so it's this team 1 score plus equals... or equals this. Fuck, actually we can't do it because it has multiple. Team 1 score plus all of this. Wow, look at this. Isn't this amazing? Okay. That's what we're trying to do. And so if this works, then we're chilling. If it doesn't, and so that would be the exemption. So if it doesn't work, that means that it means that one of two things has occurred. Both we can't solve at the moment with the current data that we have. I'll have to make some changes to the transformation. So if I have time to do that afterwards, I will, and then we will implement it again. This is just going to be a temporary fix. So all we're going to do is we're just going to say that team 1 score plus equals, and we'll just give them half. We'll just say you get half the points that you normally would. Because honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to assume a 50% win rate. That's all we're going to do. So the downside with this is that if it's a completely dog shit pick, with the team, with the champion that you're looking for or whatever, then this doesn't fairly represent it. But for the vast majority of champions, I imagine it, if you were to play 1,000 games for each of them with every champion, you'd get to about 50% or something relatively close to it. So we're just going to say 50%. I think that's the best way to go about it. Okay. So the next thing we have to do, stand by. Okay, so the next thing we have to do, because this will calculate all of the team 1 stuff just fine. So the next thing is to calculate all of the team 2 things. Team 2. So we can largely do this the same way. It's pretty much just the try except again. The only difference... Oh, shit. There we go. The only difference is that we are looking for not with, but against. So we're just saying versus, and we want the opposite. Right? No, because we're recording it from that champion's perspective, aren't we? So when they're playing against that champion, they have a win rate of, yeah, and that gets, so if they have a 100% win rate against that champion, then we want it to multiply accordingly. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Okay. That's how that works. Awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much all we have to do. And then at the end, you should have a team score. So if we run it for this composition, and it will go through because we're abusing try excepts, but that's okay. So if we look at our team 1 score, the team 1 draft score is 52.03698499999945. Okay. So let's see how often it's doing this. And let's see how often it's doing this. That interests me. We want to see as few 2s as possible. The idea is that it's only going to use the 2 when it needs to. Okay, that's not really helpful. Okay, let's do a 1 count. Oh, wait, sorry. C1. Let's do a C2. C1 plus equals 1. C2 plus equals 2. And actually, this is something we can keep. And we can print it as a score. Wait, why am I putting 2 there? Okay. Perfect. So if I do this, and then what we can do is we can look at the percentage of C1 to C2. So ideally, we want a C1 percentage of over 75% if we can get it. Right? Because there, yeah. C1 divided by C1 plus C2. So okay. Yeah, so that's pretty low. So we are looking at, okay, this song is way too next. I need something a little more chill. Okay. So we're looking at a C1 percentage or a non-random percentage of only about 55%, which it's going to change from composition to composition because some compositions are just going to be more prevalent than others, and so we won't have to worry about it as much. But for Team 1's composition here, we have a really high random percentage, right? Okay. So at the end, when this is done calculating, we want a result 1. Bro, I need to turn this down for me. And I'll turn it up for you guys. There we go. So we have a result 1, which will be a list. And in that list, we will have the Team 1 score. And we will also have this calculation right here. Okay. And then we're just going to have to reset it right here. So that way we can look at the result 1. So if I set this, and result 1 will give me both. So it will give me the score for the composition out of 100, which in this case, this composition got a score of 52. This and then the randomness score, ideally above 75%, was at 55%, which means it's not. Well, actually, you know what? I should probably do it the other way around. If it's like a randomness score, we should probably do it the other way. So it was only 45% random. Ideally, it's like 25 or lower. I think 25 or lower is pretty reasonable. But what are you going to do? We're limited on data at the moment. Okay, and now for Team 2, all we're going to do is do the same thing but backwards. We're doing the exact same thing but backwards. So this is Team 1. It's the same thing with versus, and we're just doing Team 2 score instead of Team 1 score. I think that's right. Okay, and so now we can look at, and this should be result 2. And so we can look at both result 1 and 2. So we run this for our garbage compositions that I just randomly created. It's roughly the same, but slightly different. So comp 2 is slightly worse, but it's also slightly more random. Very slight, only by point. Actually, here, you know what? Let's make this even easier for us. Let's just multiply it by 100. Let's just multiply it by 100. Why not? Why not? Who's gonna stop me? Nobody. Okay. There we go. So it's slightly higher in terms of randomness. It's not really, that big of a deal. In terms of the total number of calculations it needs to make between random and not random, it's 83. So it's quite a few at the moment. 83 is not bad for a pretty simplistic way of doing this. Okay, so we have a pretty basic sort of scoring system that we've set up here. So the next thing we're going to do is implement it into a function, the get draft score function. And then we're just going to change it to a call. So this will be set up this way, and then we're just going to call the actual function itself. Oh my god, what did I do? There we go. Okay. Just gotta... Oh my... I just can't, man. VS Code, man, sometimes. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to bring in team 1, comma, team 2. Okay. And then we're just going to have it return result 1, comma, result 2, like this. And that shouldn't be an issue. Technically speaking, I should have it read in the dictionaries as well, but since we're in a Jupyter notebook, it shouldn't really be that bad. Whatever. Here, let's just do total dictionary. And since the patch, well, no, the patch dictionary isn't set up the same way. It's kind of similar. I guess I could feed it the patch dictionary as well. So now I can delete this. And what we can do is we can say result 1, result 2 equals get draft score with team 1 equals team 1 and team 2 equals team 2. Okay. And so if I save this, run the new function, and then run this. Oh, total dictionary, right? We'll just put... What the heck did I do? Oh. There we go. And we should get the same results, and we do. Awesome. Very nice. Very, very nice. That went relatively well. Okay. So let's do a test case now. Oh, I got rid of my DuckDuckGo. Let me reopen it. So let's do a test case. Let's go to Liquipedia. And let's look at a draft from the finals. Pickban. Okay. So let's do actually here, scoreboard, round 3 finals. Okay. Let's do game 1. And we'll compare a lot of the stuff through the series. So game 1, if team 1 is Lion. So game 1, they had Gnar. I should organize this. Yeah, hang on, wait. Let me organize this. I think I can sort, right? Sorted. Does that work? Perfect. There we go. Okay, Gnar. Let's find G. I mean, I can probably type it in, but I don't want to get a key error. Okay, so Dokla was on Gnar, Inspired was on Xin Zhao. Wait, it's X, right? Oh, there he is. I wish it was set up... I don't know why it's doing it like that. It's really annoying. Okay. Mid lane was Azir, classic. AD carry was Ezreal. Support was Karma. the classic Ezreal Karma lane. Okay, and then team 2 would have been Mbessa. Malphite. So like the current way I'm doing this is a complete pain, but I think I'm pretty sure there's a good way to set this up where I can get like a decent command line application out of it, where it just makes it kind of easier. Okay, Corki, let's take a look. And then Nico was their final pick, or was their final champ. Okay, so let's take a look and see how these were scored. All right, so the results came back. Cloud9's comp was better by about 3 points. Not by a lot, but by 3 points. And actually, this was pretty low randomness, so that's not bad. I mean, theoretically, it should be... Actually, no, wait, shouldn't it be 0 randomness? Because they all definitely played against each other? That doesn't make any sense. Hold up, we might have some problems here. How is this 40? It should be no randomness because I'm using an actual test case. Unless, for whatever reason, that draft isn't in there, which it should be. Let's see, can I find the draft? So it should be playoff round 3, but it should still be lock-in. So if I find lock-in, well, that's week 1. So it's done by region. So let's see here. There we go. Round 3, Lion finals. C9 Lion should be game 1. What? Am I looking at this right? Okay, Lion 2224 01. Oh no, that's Sentinels. What am I doing? Jesus. It's this one. Stop with the rainbow CS. Oh, this is the full draft. Okay, they banned. Okay. Yeah, it's here. So then technically speaking, it should be impossible for this to be random. Because they've played against every single one of these. It should never actually get to 40%. It should be 0. Okay, well, let's do some investigation. So for each champ, so let's look at Azir, for instance. Azir with... So in this case, it would be Azir with Gnar. It has to be capital G. Key error Gnar. What? What is it here? It's right, it's Gnar. Is that game not recorded? Interesting. I do have it pick up every single one, right? Okay, so there's something wrong with the collection. Okay. Let's go back through and let's see if something is wrong here. Stand by. Okay. All right. So when it goes through, ignoring the patch, because whatever. Okay. So each goes through the call list. The call list is for Y in call list. Where's call list? Am I establishing a random non-existent list? What's going on? Am I trolling? What's happening here? Bro, am I completely delusional? What is happening? What is call list? For Y in call list. There has to be something in call list. It can't be nothing. Oh, it's right here. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're looking at T1, P1, T2, P3, T2, P4, and T2, P5. That... Wait. Hold on. I think I might see an issue. I think I might see an issue here. This is only grabbing pick 1 for team 1, and then it's only grabbing pick 3, 4, and 5 for team 2. I mean, I know why I set it up this way, because the way the columns are established, it's like missing these things. But I thought I fixed that. Wait, did I do it in the fucking thing? Oh my god, I did, didn't I? Oh my god. Okay, so... Okay, I know what's wrong here. I know what's wrong. So, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set these up as 2 columns. So I'm creating a new column. Yes. Wait, no, I already did create a new column. I thought. T1, T2, P1. No. What? Bro, why epic music right now? I don't want epic music right now. I'm struggling to create columns, okay? So if we have T2, P1, 1 through 2, which, what is this, bro? Why are all of these... Okay, this is slightly better. Yeah, this is fine, whatever. Okay, so T2, P1, we want this to be divided into 2 things. So if we look at test, let's just look at test. So this is what it looks like. The problem is that if we look at T2 P1-2, bro, this is... I need something slow. Can we get something like... Okay. This is fine, I think. Yeah, this should be okay. All right. So like we want T2P1, we want to make 2 new columns out of... Actually, wait, yeah, that's so easy. No, that's so easy. Right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure all we have to do is go through make... Yeah, okay, hang on. No, doing this should be really straightforward. So all we're going to do is we're going to make an iter row for x in test dot iteros. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going through each row. We're identifying the columns that need to be identified. So let's do that first. So columns or trans columns equals this. Okay. Okay. The columns that need to be addressed here are this one, this one, this one. Is it only these? I mean, that's 6 picks, and then we have 4 here, so yep, that's all. All right, perfect. So all we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these in every row, and we're going to create a bunch of lists. Okay? So we'll have T2 P1 list. We'll have, oh fuck. We will have a T2 P2 list. T1 P2 list. T1 P3, I think. Yeah. P3 list. And then we're going to have a T1 P4. List. I was wondering why it was kind of small. I felt like the randomness was a little too much. T1 P5. Yep. All right, perfect. And so these lists, so we're going to go through for every one in the iter row. We're just going to go through and we're going to divide it. So pick 1 is going to be this. Pick 2 is going to be this, right? Very simple. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab, so T2 P1 list dot append. So this is all it's going to be, is just, we need 6 of these in every row. Okay, and it's just going to change slightly. So T2 pick 2, T1 pick 2, T1 pick 3, T1 pick 4, and then T1 pick 5. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, T2, 1, 2. Okay, perfect. That's relatively convenient, actually. It's not bad. Okay, so for the first one, what we're going to look at is X. It should be X T2 P1 dash 2. And then what we want to do is we're going to split, and we're going to take the 0th element. We're going to split on a, I believe it's on a comma. Yep, because they actually, are these lists, or I think these are strings. Let me try. Yeah, it's a string. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so we're going to split on the comma, and we are going to take the 0th element, because that's pick 1. Pick 1, and then for pick 2, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to take the first element. And then we're just going to keep doing this because they're all set up the same way. And we just have to change the actual like label here. So this will become team 1 pick 2 dash 3, and this will exist for this one as well. Comma 0 0 1, and then this one will also be 0 1. We're just going to change this over to 1 and this over to 4, 5. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So we're going to take all of these lists. Indices must be integers or slices, not strings. Tuple indice? But this is a string. Wait. Is this not a string? This is a string. What's the issue? So if I said the 0th element here, and I said split on a comma, it would do it. I'm failing to understand why this isn't working. Hang on, wait. Did T2, does it have anything in it? No, it has nothing in it. So that means it hasn't processed at all. It's failing on the first element. Oh, wait. This is a problem with the X, isn't it? Hang on. I see the issue. Yes, okay. So all we have to do is just put this box in here. I forgot that they do it like that now. I'm sure I messed that up. I'm sure there's some way of actually fixing it. Okay. Perfect. So now if we look at T2P1 list. Oh, yeah. There we go. Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. So all we're going to do is in test, we're just going to add a bunch of new columns. We're just going to call it T2P1, and we're going to have T2P2, and then we're going to have T1P2 through 3. P4, and then oh shit, and then P5, and then we're done. And all we're going to do is move over T2P1 list, and we're just going to keep doing that. T2P2 list. Oh wait, what am I doing? That's not right. Equals T2P2 list. This one equals T1P2 list. T1P3. T1P4. And then finally T1P5. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, and now what we can do is we can add all of these to it, and all of the columns will now okay. There we go. Okay, let's rerun this and see if we get any changes. Nice, that runs. Draft score still runs, I'm sure. Total dick keys. And let's look at... Oh, fuck. There's an issue. There's an issue. There's a big issue. Fuck. It's actually not that big of a deal. So all it is the second element always has a bit of white space here. And so actually we have to split on that. And that's the only change we have to make. So we're just going to read it all back in. And then we'll just run this again, run this again, run this, run this. No issues there. Run this. That shouldn't still be the case. Why is that still the case? Wait, is that still running? It's not. Why is this still the thing? Still a thing? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's close, reopen, run everything up to this point again. That's not good. Okay, what happens if we do like the fifth element here? I don't get it. Why is it doing that? It's always in front too, so that means it can't be the first element. It has to be the second. Oh. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Okay. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Jeez. That's really dumb of me. Alright. Run that again. Beautiful. Okay, and let's take a look at the length now, because we might have missed some. It was like 101 before, I think. Yep, 125. We missed a lot. We missed a lot. Okay, so now when we run this, we should get 0. It's pretty close to 0. That's still strange that it's doing that, because it shouldn't. Am I missing one? I thought I got all the picks. There shouldn't be anything wrong with this. This should work exactly as intended. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that's 10. That's 10 picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's pick 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. Pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. That is really strange. I'm still getting randomness. I shouldn't get any. Get draft score. C1, C2 start is 0. Zero divided by whatever is still 0. That's kind of the issue. If it's at C2, yeah, because in order for it to get this, it has to. Actually, shouldn't it give me an error? I think it should give me an error. I don't know. I feel like this should give me It's trying and failing is kind of the point. It's like, okay, so there's a chance that what's happening here has nothing to do with the champion. It has everything to do with the way I've set up this equation. Because let me do a test. I don't think Python allows you to do this. No, it does. So then even if this is 0, it should still work. Versus. That's not right. That's not right. No, that should be with. Or sorry, that should be versus. Okay, rerun draft. That was the issue. There we go. Perfect. I was gonna say, I was looking at him like I don't think that's right. Like that. So essentially, what was happening was there were certain instances where it couldn't find an example in a loss for the verses, and so it was fucking up there. That's what was going on. Perfect. Okay. I think this is a good stopping point. We'll do the UI next Tuesday, hopefully. And then the Tuesday after that, I won't have time to stream, unfortunately. Yeah, and I think this is fairly accurate. I mean, I think it's reasonably accurate is what I would say. If we look at DuckDuckGo here, and we pull up draft for NA scoreboards. So it has, if we look at this, Team 1 being Lion, it gave them a draft score of 43. It gave C9 a draft score of 60 with no randomness. And sure enough, C9 the victor in this game. And I think these are pretty common, like, these are relatively common champions, I'd say. Like, I don't think these are being picked randomly or anything. Like, there's nothing weird here. And so I think it's fairly objective, and yeah, I think it did reasonably well for a very basic model. In terms of things to improve on it, so definitely I want to build a UI for it because I want to make it easier to do test cases, because right now it's way too ridiculous. Let me turn off the music for the rest of this. So I want to do that, and then I also want, I think we also look into, I want to do a patch relevancy. I want champion overall win rate because I think that will be easier than the randomness, because at least then there's something. It's like slightly less random. I'll give it like a half instead of 1. But yeah, I'm gonna use this. I'll use this for America's Cup that starts tomorrow. And we'll see. I'll see kind of how well it does draft-wise. So yeah, all in all, not bad. Not bad. Feel like I've got to a good point here. I think this is a decent point. All right. If you enjoyed, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any comments, please leave them on the latest video if you can, and I will get back to them.